Greg was transporting a prisoner. This perpetrator had been picked up for public intoxication, had a wreck, left the scene. The perpetrator had hidden a small gun in his hand, made a fist around it. Quarter of a mile from the jail, the perpetrator swung around in the seat and brought the gun up and shot Greg 5 times in the back of the head. In less than 2 seconds, my whole life and my children's lives were completely devastated and shattered. And so it's very overwhelming because not only are you trying to figure out what direction in life you have to go now, and you have to make it the right choice for yourself and for your children, but then you get these labels. Single-parent households, widow, orphan children, and that's just adding to the grief process.
Anytime you talk to somebody who has experienced a loss, they'll say, I just wish I could talk to other people who could understand me. Every grief, every loss is as individual as people are individuals. But when you can find somebody who has experienced similar circumstances, it's a tremendous help to get you through those difficult times. Everybody says closure. There's no such thing as closure. You incorporate it in your history and hope to move on. Right here we have the experts.
During this weekend, these police widows will take another step on the difficult journey of the survivor. They will learn life lessons through a series of outdoor activities and challenges. Instructors for these events include YMCA staff, regional law enforcement volunteers, and specialists from the Missouri Department of Conservation's Becoming an Outdoorswoman program, a workshop that gives women a chance to learn more about skills that revolve around nature.
I'm going to come out here and I'm going to experience and I'm going to see what's out there and I'm going to see what the challenges are that C.O.P.S gives me, and I'm going to succeed. And when I succeed, I'm going to go home and I'm going to succeed at everything that I face there. It's important to know that you're not alone. We have survivors here this weekend from 1950 all the way up to 2001. And everybody handles it differently, but everybody has something they can share that can help you when you face that situation get through it.
Our database now contains over 10,000 names nationwide. For every officer that goes down, we figure there's an average of 12 family members affected by that death.
I'm a widow for 51 years. My officer was Bill Levinson, and he died in Oregon.
Learning these outdoor skills does more than just test one's abilities. These shared experiences provide a stage where confidence can be built, support offered, and bonds created.
We're in a comfortable situation. We're comfortable with one another. We know that getting through the grief process means maybe laughing and crying at the same time. Maybe raising your voice a little bit or just sitting quietly. And in a situation like this, that comfort zone is there, the comfort level is there, and we're able to share, we're able to open up simply for the fact that we all know that we've been faced with a tragedy, and we're going to make it.
My husband was Dave C.O.P.S, and he was killed working with the Metro-Dade Police Department in 1988. I was 27 years old. I had a 2.5-year-old son. I was just 4 to 5 weeks pregnant, and thought I'd spend the rest of my life with my husband, and just was slapped in the face with the thought that he was dead and never coming home.
Let's go, survivors and C.O.P.S. Survivors and C.O.P.S. Yes! Let's go.
This is not just an outdoor event to us. This is an event from the time we get off that plane in St. Louis until the time we get on that plane to go wherever we belong. It's constant peer support. We don't sit around in circles like you think of counseling, because you know what? Sitting with somebody and watching another person climb a tower, you get more strength from that person.
This is probably the most challenging thing I've ever done. And if I can do this, I can accomplish anything in my life.
I don't like heights. I can't do heights. But peer pressure is one of those things that helps you to find that determination to go forward.
There's not 1 ounce of anything in my body not shaking right now. And I have to say, I'd much rather face the day-to-day challenges than to do this.
5 times I counted today. I wanted to come down. I had enough. But they kept saying, Molly, listen to me. Trust me. You can do it. I can do it. By God, Greg, you're going to be watching because I can do this.
There you go. That was a good challenge.
Each life here is a work in progress. Every fear faced makes them stronger.
Gotta trust, gotta trust, gotta trust!
This is what killed my husband. 25 caliber or 22 caliber bullet. This tiny thing in one split instant took his life, and he was gone, and my whole life changed. And I think for most of us, we want to know how that tiny little thing changed everything in our lives in such a short amount of time. And to find out how that works and to find out everything that we can about it kind of gives us a little bit of power over that and takes the power away from the person who did it to us.
We've got a big variety of guns up here, one of every type. And so you might see one you're familiar with or one you've had questions about. How do you unload it? How do I check to see if it's loaded? How does the safety work on this gun?
Put 5 rounds in your magazine.
Then, many of these women take learning about firearms a step further.
Not long ago, I was at a living history museum, and they were doing a pretend gunfight. And I knew that the guns were pretend and that there weren't real bullets. But I had a physical reaction to that I couldn't control. My heart was pounding, and I was sweating, and I couldn't catch my breath. And I hated that feeling, and I hated being that scared and feeling that out of control. So when I had a chance to come here, not knowing anything about guns and having never even touched a gun, I saw it as an opportunity to learn and to be able to get a feeling that I was in control.
I became a widow in 1966. I'm from Hialeah, Florida, and my husband was Hugo Becker.
Redwood City, California police officer killed in the line of duty May 8th, 1981.
My husband Bob was killed on August 8th, 2000.
Sitting around the campfire, this is the best thing. Brings you together, you're in a peaceful atmosphere, you're able to share, but you know what? There's something about a campfire that lets you feel that love and that bond and gives you more hope and determination.
Sing in the rain, just sing in the rain.
Grief is often expressed through tears, and they were abundant at times during this weekend. The sad stories and the tears were not for public consumption, but for private moments within the group, with the cameras turned off.
Some people are so afraid to laugh, and in the beginning you're so afraid to cry because if you start crying, tears might never stop. And then if you laugh, oh, are you a bad person because you now aren't grieving anymore, you're forgetting? No, we're here to let them know laughter is one of the best healing processes you can ever go through.
I always go home with a better feeling or with something new in my life or an accomplishment or something, whatever it is, little or small. But I come here because there might be something I might say that nobody else could ever say. Maybe one sentence I said to a survivor might help her get on with her life or take another step in her grief process. And that's what it's all about. You have to have caring people here.
When you catch the fish, you realize I can take my kids fishing. When you learn how to paddle a canoe, you can also take your kids canoeing. They need to know that I can do anything I set my mind to do.
I wasn't going to let this perpetrator take anything else. He took my best friend, my husband, the father of my children, my confidant, my lover. He took all that, and I refused to let him take any more. I'm able to smile again. I'm able to love again. I'm able to move forward and enjoy life.
Good job!